New tonight at 6, Springs United Methodist Church in Plover won't hold on to its building anymore. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Hansen.
And I'm Melissa Langman. Now, that church caught fire back in 2019, and after years of fundraising trying to preserve it, it will now not be rebuilt.
News 9's Isaac Dienison is in Plover with how the congregation is moving forward.
Nearly 2.5 years ago, this church building caught fire. And after all that time, with few options left, the people that once sat in these pews had to make a tough decision.
Just a lot of outpouring of support.
Right off of Plover Springs Drive, you'll see an unoccupied church building with a few windows boarded up. In March 2019, this is what that church looked like.
If you went by the building, you would see that there was a shell of it. What didn't survive was the entire interior.
Fire crews deemed Springs United Methodist Church a total loss, forcing the congregation to relocate. But a decision made back in 2015 made that process a little easier.
St. Paul's and the Springs merged to become one church. So it became one church with two locations.
The location in Plover had been a fixture in the community since the 1960s, the church itself having started all the way back in the 1850s. Now in 2021, the congregation decided not to try to restore the old building, and using this past weekend to say their final goodbyes.
You know, a building holds us together as a community, and that's really what people were expressing.
With their worship space having moved just minutes away, though the memories are left behind, the message moves forward.
Yes, the building that had held us together is no longer, but we are the church, we are the living stones that carry forward this message of grace and hope and peace.
As for what's next with the old spot, he says it's unknown, but the future lies in their hands.
Our hope is to continue the legacy of the Springs in some way. We don't know what that will look like. We still have to discern that.
Now, if you'd like information on how you can help, you can visit our website, waow.com. In Plover, Isaac Dienison, News 9, WAOW.
Now is tracking some stormy weather for us.
That's right. We have a level 2 slight risk of severe weather right across central and north central Wisconsin, basically from Lincoln County and southward. That's for the possibility of a few storms with gusty winds, hail, even heavy rainfall, of course some intense lightning. So that's a possibility there could be some power outages later tonight if some of these storms develop as expected. Right now there's a couple of lighter showers and thunderstorms moving quickly northeast across central Wisconsin. These are not severe at this time, but you should still move indoors at the earliest sign of lightning, of course. And some of these showers and storms are crossing southern Wapaka County over to the east of Stevens Point. And we track that out around Amherst Junction, New Hope and Iola over the next half hour. Also, some of those off to the south of Wapaka will track over toward New London. And we're looking at some other ones up around Stockton, Custer, and Rosholt. Some lighter showers occurring there in southern Taylor County, southwest of Medford, and also north of Edgar. And they too are tracking to the northeast, of one of those moving toward Reap-Rock and Little Chicago by 6:30 this evening. Well, here's a view in Rhinelander showing some cloudy skies right now. And our evening planner calls for temps around 60 degrees with some scattered strong storms by 10 p.m. to midnight. I'll have much more in a few minutes.
All right, Tony, thank you very much. So the Evers administration files a motion today asking a federal court to allow the governor to intervene in a lawsuit over Wisconsin's electoral maps. The lawsuit filed last month asks a federal court to draw the state's next set of electoral maps. The governor's motion, filed by Attorney General Josh Kaul and the Wisconsin Department of Justice, says both the governor and the legislature should be involved in the redistricting process.
And we have all experienced it. You receive a link that doesn't seem quite right or an email that doesn't quite seem right. No matter how curious you might be, do not open it. Attorney General Josh Kaul putting out a warning after he says his office is tracking an increase in attempted cyber attacks in the Badger State. Hackers and thieves spread ransomware through email attachments, advertisements, or links on websites. If you download the bug, they could hold your information hostage and demand ransom.
The more that people are aware of this danger and that they take steps to prevent it, the less likely those criminals are to succeed.
He says the best thing that you can do is to use caution when opening links or emails that don't seem normal. And if you are the target of ransomware, do not give in to the demands. Former Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Kleefisch says that she has already raised more than $1 million since announcing her bid for governor last week. The Republican Kleefisch was second in command in the Walker administration. Several other Republicans are considering getting into the race but have yet to announce. Wisconsin will vote for its next governor in November of 2022.
LA downtown Wausau sandwich shop is causing quite a stir after social media rumors allege health violations. News 9's Brittany Slaughter joins us live now with the details.
Yeah, hey guys. Well, the manager at Herbert and Gerbert told us that over the weekend, a disgruntled employee posted a handmade sign that quickly went viral on social media. Now, the sign alleges that there was mold in the food, but the manager tells us that that just isn't true. There was no mold exposure. Looking into health reports, there are no recent issues that were flagged at the sandwich shop, though health officials said they have heard about the rumor and will investigate. We also checked their last two health investigations, and they came up clean except for two minor violations, but they had nothing to do with mold. Live in Wausau, Brittany Slaughter, News 9 WAOW.
All right, Brittany, thank you. A Wausau man accused of trying to hide a corpse has now agreed to a plea deal.
Daniel Allen will spend 4 years in prison after pleading guilty to delivering heroin to Brian Kinehest in November of 2017. Kinehest died of an overdose. Allen at the time allegedly hid Kinehest's body in a hotel closet where it remained until 6 months later. A West Allis woman is accused of years of neglect and abuse against her son, ultimately leading to his death. The 6-year-old died Labor Day after Tasha Rocco called police saying that her son stabbed himself while playing with knives. But the coroner says the boy died of blunt force trauma. A criminal complaint saying he'd been stabbed, confined in handcuffs for hours at a time, and denied food and water. Rocco faces at least 60 years in prison if convicted.
A crash in Langley County leaves one person dead. Authorities say 22-year-old Colton Schroepfer of Bonduel drove off County Road H early Sunday morning. He went into the ditch, hit a driveway, and rode multiple times. The crash remains under investigation. And one of the biggest voices behind Cronenwetter's Gold Star Families Memorial has died.
Joseph Calby worked for years to bring this memorial to fruition, and it is in Rothschild, actually, near the mill down there, honoring families who lost a member of their family serving in the military. For his actions, Calby has been a Jefferson Award honoree and has received statewide recognition from veterans groups. He was 79 years old. Nearly 70%